Hey guys, it's Crazy Tales 1. I'm back with another video. This is my review of NXT Takeover The End. Or when they finally revealed the title, it was actually called NXT Takeover The End of the Beginning. So let's get right into it. Basically, the event started with a video package showing all the past NXT superstars like Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Neville, Paige, all of those superstars, and now where they are now. And they were saying how that was the start of the era, and this is the end of the era. All the rivalries up until this point, from 2012 now, ends here, and it's the start of something new. I'll explain more in detail. I think the end of that title actually means. 'Cause I know people say the end only meant basically the end of Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor, but I feel like there's more meaning to it. But as the event goes, the first match, Todd Dillinger versus I'm gonna mess up his name. I'm just gonna call him CN. I know that's his middle name. First, I was just side note. Todd Dillinger, he's great. I always loved him. I just hate how they always use him. They always use him to put somebody over. When Apollo Crews debuted, they made him face Ty Dillinger, so Ty Dillinger had to put him over. When Sami Zayn returned, Ty Dillinger had to face him. It's like, Ty Dillinger, you're good. I love you. It's just that I just wish that they would just stop using you to put the other guy over, especially when they need to. In this case, again, you had to put somebody over who was just debuting on TV. I mean, CM was already here. He was just never on the NXT television. He was in their house shows, basically. But yeah, CN won. My favorite part of that match is when he actually was like hanging on the rope, just sitting there on the ropes. Like, it was crazy how he did that, though. I didn't expect him. I thought he got stuck or something, but he was just hanging out there. That was funny. The next match was for the NXT Tag Team titles, which was American Alpha, Jason Jordan, Chad Gable versus The Revival, which is Scott Dawson and Dax Wilder for the NXT titles. This was their the Rivals rematch clause from NXT Takeover Dallas. Since they lost, they get a rematch clause. The match was epic. Oh my god, when Jason Jordan, you see, as I always, basically, if you don't know by now, the American Alpha is basically Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas 2.0, but they're great. I had no problem. Chad Gable's the best, and Jason Jordan. I prefer Chad Gable. If I had to pick between two, I would obviously pick Chad Gable. But Jason Jordan is always perfect. Every time, he's like he's basically when a hot tag, how a hot tag's supposed to be. Basically, when a hot tag happens, that's how Jason Jordan Corey J said perfectly. He just goes like 100 miles every time he steps in that ring. When Gable tags him, it was perfect. The shockingest moment was actually the result of the match. I was not expecting them to do that. Because if you notice in NXT, no champion ever had two reigns. Every champion, either the NXT champion, NXT Tag Team champion, or NXT Women's champion, they always had one reign, and that was it, basically. And then once you lose your rematch, you pretty much are set for the main roster. So, the fact that the Revival beat American Alpha and became a two-time NXT Tag Team Champion, that actually shocked me. I was not expecting that at all. And also, we have to obviously talk about what happened after the match, was a debut of the Authors of Pain. I don't know their name specifically. I just know that's their team stable. I actually just don't know their name. Also, Paul Ellering, he returned, because people in the crowd don't know who he was, and if in case you don't know who he is, he's basically, he was the managers for the Road Warriors, basically. That's what he's best known for, so he returned, so he's obviously going to manage them. So it was actually quite shocking to see him, a Hall of Famer. What did he get inducted in 2011? Yeah, he got inducted in 2011. I expect him to obviously return, so he's going to obviously, manage the Authors of Pain. They obviously pretty much had that big guy tag team feel, like the Road Warriors, Demolition, them. So it's like I can see why they're doing that. I don't know why my camera is like this. I apologize. Basically, the next match. What was the next match? The next match was the match of the night, actually, which was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Austin Aries. Again, Shinsuke Nakamura always has the best entrance of the whole night. And finally, I mean, it's on par with Finn Balor, basically. Those two entrances, especially when this is demon mode, those entrances are pretty much the best two entrances that he has right now. Which essentially Undertaker. Undertaker's entrance is always the best. But Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura's entrances, and at least for NXT, are hands down the best entrances that they have. So always keep them like that. Austin Aries look freaking perfect. Now, I mean, I know who Austin Aries is. He was in TNA for a while. I've never seen him really does his in-ring work that much because I never really paid attention to TNA. When he fought Baron Corbin, it didn't really show what he can do because he's faced a big guy. But now he's faced someone who, I'm not saying Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is one of my favorite heels anyway right now on the main roster. I wish they would just do more of him. But since they had a guy Shinsuke Nakamura, so both of them just go at it, and it was perfect. It was hard hitting. Probably the spot of the night was when Austin Aries, he did the fisherman's carry on the apron. I thought Shinsuke Nakamura like broke his neck because he was out for like a couple seconds, so he started moving. I was like, okay, he's all right. But then it was funny. Tom Phillips actually screwed up when he jumps off the rope and he hits the knee in the back of the head to the opponent. Tom Phillips said King Sasa, but Corey Graves like, no, that's the prelude to the King Salsa. So I found that I was actually laughing. I was like, that wasn't the King Salsa when he said it. But yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura hit the King Salsa and 1, 2, 3. Shinsuke Nakamura won. So I have to assume basically, because if you remember the story, they were saying who deserves the right to be the next number one contender for the NXT champion. Even though they didn't say this was the number one contender's match, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be the next person head to face the face the NXT champion, which I'm not gonna say who won. You already know who won. This video was uploaded a day later. So the next match of the night was Asuka versus. That's the thing about this takeover. It felt long, but in reality, it was only like 5 matches, which that's good. The fact that they had longer matches, that I found that interesting. But the next match of the night was Asuka versus Nia Jax for the NXT Women's title. So Asuka and Nia Jax, originally obviously Bayley, but storyline wise, she got injured by Nia Jax, so she couldn't medically clear to get her rematch clause. Eventually, I'm gonna have to assume that she's gonna get her rematch clause eventually. So that basically confirms her delay coming up to the main roster, because she has to get her rematch. She is entitled to her rematch, so she has to get it. Just like how Neville got his rematch right before he actually went to the main roster, like a month later, the day after WrestleMania. So she just has to get it. But I'm losing track here. Sorry. Anyway, Nia Jax versus Asuka. It was actually a hard-hitting match. I didn't expect Nia Jax to move so quickly in the ring. I know she is fast. Despite her size, she is very fast. But I didn't expect her to be that fast to be on par with Asuka. But Asuka was hitting the crap out of her. Sometimes when she was hitting her, I was like, oh, God, does that really hurt? Damn. But Nia Jax was able to take it. And then in the end, I love how what he did. So this made Nia Jax actually look good. When she kept kicking her and kicking her, she would not hit down, and then that one final kick knocked her out. But it took her almost 4 kicks to do it in the face, just to do it, and then it finally worked. 1, 2, 3. Asuka retains. So pretty much, I think her next rivalry, she has to end it before she goes to the main roster with Bayley. Bayley has to get a rematch before she goes to the main roster. It's kind of obvious. And then comes our main event. For the NXT title, for the first time ever in NXT history, there was a steel cage match. Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor for the NXT title in steel cage match. Now, I like how they actually did this to cage, because I was wondering when I knew it was still when the end was going to be taking place in full, so I was like, that stage isn't big enough to hold the steel cage on top of it for it not to be touching the opponents if they go on the turnbuckle. So I'm glad how the way they did it was actually kind of cool, because it was 4 separate all 4 sides are on the side of the top of the roof itself, and they came down together and they all connected together. I thought that was pretty awesome. But and actually this cage is actually smaller than what they use on the main roster for Raw and SmackDown, so I find that kind of interesting. So obviously they're taking different approaches, just like how ladder matches in NXT, they use black ladders instead of the white ladders. So I always like how they're trying to be different. You gotta know NXT is completely different from Raw and SmackDown. They film backward. They film on facing the opposite direction that the main roster uses. The entrance ramps are no, not the entrance ramp. Basically, the way the camera angles are different from how they use in the main roster. Obviously, the black ring mat compared to white, it's different, and I like how they try to make it different than the main roster. Anyway, on to the main event, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, of course, had an amazing entrance. I feel like every entrance, he always has a theme to it. With this one, I know had the cage, but if you look at the background for his Titantron, I know sometimes I look way into things, but this is just me. I thought basically he was trying to reference the fact that it was Bullet Club. Because if you remember so he basically has 2 different entrances: his Bullet Club entrance and then his Demon entrance. I mean, his Bullet Club is a normal entrance, but then I keep saying Bullet Club, Bulletproof, and then his regular Demon mode entrance. So I think he fused it because he used the lights and the colors, the black and white, that just pretty much represents his Bulletproof attire, and or Balor Club attire. I should just say Balor Club, because pretty much what's going to be when he comes to the main roster. How are they going to do it? I couldn't tell you. But yeah, that's pretty much he fused his Balor Club attire with his demon, so it was all black and white, which I actually enjoyed that. Now cage match itself, oh my god, it was amazing. I'm not, you know, my match tonight with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Austin Aries. I still thought this cage match was amazing. I love how the crowd kept telling him to go up, 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 so he could jump do the coup de grace off the top of the cage. I was actually looking forward to seeing that myself, but we never got it because Samoa Joe probably did the best spot of the night. You know, I give Austin Aries, Shinsuke Nakamura the match of the night. I give Samoa Joe and Finn Balor the spot of the night when Samoa Joe did the Muscle Buster off the second rope onto the ring. That was freaking amazing. 1, 2, 3. Samoa Joe is still your NXT champion, and that was the end of the beginning. Now, overall, the event was fine. Also, side note, Bobby Roode did show up during Basket Day with William Regal, so he's gonna appear eventually. He might appear during the TV tapings this week. I think it's actually today, so it might be a spoiler. He might actually appear. So look forward to that. You know, it's probably breaking on the news eventually. But yeah, overall the event was fine. I don't usually rate like reviews, like my wrestling reviews, cause I don't feel like there's really needs a rating. I just gonna tell you my opinion on it. You could tell if I liked it or not. I'm telling you, I liked it. It was amazing. Yeah, so basically the match of the night, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Austin Aries, hands down. Spot of the night gives Samoa Joe with the Muscle Buster with Finn Balor. Oscar versus Nia Jax was also great. The tag team match was actually incredible. It's probably gonna be the most underrated match of the night. And then Ty Dillinger versus the debut of CN. That was also good. And then the Authors of Pain also debuted as well. So back to my main point, because I'm trying to make this video kind of short as possible. What I feel like the title of the end was, there's speculation what the end was before they announced Takeover Brooklyn for SummerSlam. People thought it was the end of NXT. I thought it was the end of NXT. And then people thought it was Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor feud is over. What I really think what the end title actually means is the end of this era NXT. Because if you think about it, from 2012 to now, all these storylines that happened with NXT was through all those 4 years. Think about it. Seth Rollins won the NXT title, which handled Big E Langston. At the time, not Big E, who passed it down to Bo Dallas, who feuded with Neville, who went on to Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens got the title, and then Finn Balor held it for 292 days, and then Samoa Joe finally ended the longest reign in NXT history by beating Finn Balor to become NXT champion. And then he did it again by beating him in a steel cage match. So it was the end of the era of this NXT. I feel like probably next week when NXT airs, we're gonna see a new era. Cause I feel like Finn Balor is basically done. I don't know why. I know Triple H hinted. That's one of the main reasons why I'm doing my video today. I wanted to see Triple H's Facebook video, just to see what he was gonna say. He's saying Finn Balor is probably not done with Samoa Joe. I'm pretty sure that's just smoke screen. Finn Balor is gonna show up. Finn Balor is done with NXT. There's nothing else he can do. He had his reign. He had a great run of NXT. Probably the best run any superstar could possibly had. He held a title for 292 days. Nobody else can say that. It's just, his reign was perfect. There's nothing much you can do. The only thing you can do is pretty much live up to what your shirt says, Balor Club, go on the main roster and do your thing, Finn Balor. It's going to be interesting if the Balor Club forms AJ Styles still in it. Are they both going to be leaders? He's going to kick AJ Styles out? Because that is his club at the end of the day. We won't know. But anyway, thank you. This is my review for NXT TakeOver, the end of the beginning. If you like this video, guys, I hope you did. I know it's a kind of long review, but I just had to get my thoughts out. Like I said, I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I always talk a lot about wrestling. So I expect me to always say a lot, even more if I have to, when it comes to these reviews. So thank you guys for watching. It's Craig 2001 signing off, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.